So as I said, in today's class, we'll be discussing about Power BI and why you guys want to learn Power BI and what is the need to learn Power BI. We'll be discussing about that initially. And after that, we will discuss what are the topics that we are going to cover in the next 5.5 to 6 weeks of time. Then we'll move on to the next class where we'll be installing the Power BI from scratch. We'll be starting and taking to the advanced level as well. Okay. Now coming to the first thing, the most important thing, why we need to learn Power BI, because there are a lot of BI tools outside. Every company will have, if there is a product company, they'll have their own BI tool. And there are other BI tools also in the platform, like your Tableau is a BI tool, Looker is a BI tool, Click is a BI tool. There are a lot of BI tools, but nowadays, if you see the job market, a lot of job, it's completely about Power BI. Now, just now I was searching before the class, typed Power BI jobs in Bangalore, only in Bangalore. Since I stay in Bangalore, it's looking for the Bangalore location and everything. I can see an assistant manager, Power BI developer, business intelligence developer, and you can see a Power BI developer. Now, if I go to a specific website called Naukri, when I clicked on this, I have first of all myself as shocked to see there are 16,000 jobs available for a Power BI developer. Assume that out of the 16,000 jobs, 8,000 are previously posted, and it's been, let's remove 50% or let's remove 60% also. Okay. In that case, also, I can take around how much? 50% if I take, it will be around 16,000, 8,000 jobs and remove another 1,000 jobs also, which are not active also. So only in Bangalore, there are 7,000 jobs of Power BI developer. And that too, when I see it's not a small company, it's Power BI developer, PwC, SQL Tableau, Power BI developer, Automate Power BI developer, Power BI developer in Capgemini. Again, is a business analyst and a Power BI developer, PwC, Power BI developer, Steps. I mean, when I've seen this jobs in a major companies, I thought of applying myself. When you see this kind of PwC posting only 3 jobs, Capgemini, there is an opportunity. And see, TCS, we have a Power BI developer. Quest, you have a Power BI developer. Now, if I keep on going like this, there are a lot of jobs in a lot of major companies. It's not even a small company. Even in TCS, PwC, smaller companies, you have almost, let's say, as I said, out of Qualcomm, we have a Power BI developer. Out of 16,000, if I remove 60% also, 8,000 jobs are available for a Power BI developer. Now, to answer some of you people asked, now, is it necessary to learn the database structure? Is it necessary to learn something related to anything? Nothing is required. They're just looking for a Power BI developer straight away. They're not looking for any other thing. Here, in this case, they're looking for a SQL and a Power BI developer. Okay. Or you can see here, there's an or symbol. Any one of the things. If you have a SQL experience, that's well and good. But if you have a Power BI developer, that's what they're looking for. That's the major important thing. Now, the question comes, why there are this many jobs that is being generated? Why there are so many jobs that is being, if you ask me, the Power BI boom has come in the last 4 or 5 years majorly. There are a lot of opportunities. I mean, I'm not just telling you for the sake of telling this. I've seen myself where my reportee, who has just a 3 years of experience, he's been offered in EY company for 14 lakhs, just a 3 years of experience guy. Okay. A Power BI developer, apart from Power BI, he does not know anything. He does not even know about SQL. He does not know about anything. He got a job in EY just 1 month back for 13 to 14 lakhs here and there, almost 13.5 lakhs or such kind of a thing, just with 2.5 years of experience. Okay. Now, the only thing is, why did they get and what is the reason of this Power BI booming is, I mean, you understood everything, why we need to learn Power BI. Some people want to grow in their career. So the reason me learning Power BI also, okay, as a business analyst, I had almost 8 years of experience. And as a SQL developer also, at that time, I had almost 3 years of experience. Now I thought, okay, let me learn this Power BI tool, which is booming. So to grow my career in the existing job opportunity, to grow my career, I've learned Power BI. Now, some people might want to learn Power BI to grow in their current organization. If you want to grow further, you can learn Power BI. Or some people want to look for a job opportunity. Now, this is some course which will be not taught to you guys in engineering or in your MTech or such kind of a thing. Okay. Now, I don't know whether they are teaching it right now, but so far, whatever I heard till 2019 or 2020 batch also, they don't have Power BI as a subject in their engineering. Okay. Now, that's the one more reason you need to learn. So compared to all other freshers, I don't see any fresher here, but I'm just telling you, compared to all other fresher, if you do Power BI and there is a licensing exam which is being conducted by Microsoft, there is a certification called PL300. Okay. Now, if you do this particular certification, which is done by Microsoft, this is like your certificate. For example, if you have completed your engineering, okay, now you might have a good knowledge about probability and statistics. You might have a good knowledge about C, C++, all these languages. But what will tell you to the world, stating that, okay, you have a good knowledge of this, basically your engineering certificate. In the same manner, if you want to grow in your existing organization, or if you are looking for a new opportunity or a new job, then this certification will be very much helpful. Okay. Now, companies like IBM, companies like PwC, or companies like Infosys, they will definitely want you to do this certification. Okay. Now, what is the purpose of it? Definitely, you'll have an interview. It's not like that you have a certification. Okay, this guy is good. Let's straight away give the job. They'll not give like that. But if they have two resumes, one mentioning only I have a knowledge related to Power BI, and one more person, a Power BI knowledge with the certified PL300 certification, they'll definitely pick your resume. It will give you a weightage of 5 to 10% more compared to the other resumes. Okay. And I insist you guys to do this certification of PL300. Now, if you ask me straight away, will we be covering all the topics related to this? We'll be covering each and every topic wherever you can write this particular exam. What are the questions they're asking this particular exam? All the topics will be covering. Okay. And yeah, coming back to the topic, our topic again. Now, why we need to learn Power BI, as we discussed, more job opportunities to upskill ourselves and to grow within our organization. Okay, so that's the reason we want to learn Power BI. Okay, even I learned in the seminar. I want to grow, I want to earn more money in the existing organization, and I want to keep my job safely. So that's the reason I've learned Power BI in 2018. I've learned during that. So now coming back, now why they are using as the initial, why there is a more boom of Power BI compared to other BI tools? The reason being because of your Microsoft ecosystem advantage. Now, what do I mean by Microsoft ecosystem advantage? Now, in a company, you're working in a particular organization. You might use Teams, what we are connected right now. This is Teams, right? Whatever we are connected right now. Your company might be using Teams. Your company will be using Outlook. Your company might be using Excel sheets. Your company might be using, let's say, SQL Server, or your company might be using Azure database. Okay, Azure, nowadays it's completely related to Azure, Databricks and everything, right? Now it's already related Microsoft ecosystem advantage. Okay, now nowadays Excel, your SQL Server, your Outlook, your Teams, whatever your company might be using it, this is all part of the microsystem advantage. Okay, now who has developed Power BI? Basically, initially Power BI is not developed by Microsoft. Microsoft has purchased 2014, and for the people, okay, 2015 is the first year where the people got to practice Power BI. It was made publicly to everyone in the year 2015. Okay. Now, this is also a part of the Microsoft ecosystem. Now, whenever your company is purchasing Outlook or Excel or anything, out of that ecosystem, even Power BI will come as a part of the tool. So that's the Microsoft ecosystem advantage we will have. So there is a choice, like that's also a Microsoft tool. Okay. When your company is purchasing that Microsoft Dynamics 365, by default, Power BI will be part of that particular tool. So no need to purchase some other tool by spending additional amount or such kind of a thing. Okay, that's one thing. And the other advantage of using Power BI is it's low cost efficient. It's called Power BI desktop. Okay, now if you see this particular desktop, anyone can download this. I can just go to the Play Store. Otherwise, I can just go to Microsoft Power BI desktop download. Power BI. I can just download this. But this is free of cost. No need to spend anything. But in Tableau, when you want to practice these visuals, for example, what are the visuals we are seeing here? If you want to practice this kind of visuals also, it will take license. Tableau will not even allow you to, they'll just give you a free trial of 15 days or 20 days. After that, even the Power BI desktop like this, whatever we have is for free. In Tableau, it is chargeable. In Looker also, it is chargeable. Okay, only first 15, 30 days, they'll give you for trial period, and after that they'll charge you. But Power BI desktop is completely free. Anyone can download it. Anyone can practice in the Power BI desktop. Okay. Now, and the other reason is after that, if you want to, you have developed the report, and if you want to publish this report in the cloud-based services, compared to the Power BI licenses, is pretty cheap compared to all other licenses. So that's the reason what company looks for. Company will look for a cheaper cost so that it achieves the major goal, and it has to be cheaper and it should be efficient. In all the ways, Power BI is very much efficient enough compared to the other BI tools, and very much, as I said, it's a Microsoft ecosystem. So that's one more advantage. Power BI also will be part of the package. Okay, that's one more use case why a lot of companies are adopting to the Power BI compared to the other BI tools. Now, the latest introduction is your Microsoft Fabric. Now, anyone of you heard about Microsoft Fabric? Anyone, are you working on, if you are guys are working with a data engineering team, you would have definitely heard about Azure database or Microsoft Fabric. Is anyone working on Microsoft Fabric? Please let me know if anyone is working on it. Assuming it as a no, just let me give me a moment. I'm trying to open Power BI services. It's a one of a tool. For example, if you're working in a real-time environment with the databases and everything, nowadays what's happening? If you're working on a SQL database, Amazon Redshift, okay, it's been provided by Amazon. SQL Server is provided by Microsoft. There is an Oracle database where you worked on SQL that is provided by Oracle. Okay. Now your database has to be purchased from Oracle, correct? And afterwards, BI tool, let's say you're working on Power BI. This has to be purchased from Microsoft. And afterwards, let's say your data lake or something, otherwise Databricks. Databricks is separate company. Your database is being given by Databricks. Now, SQL Server is purchased from Amazon. BI tool is purchased from Microsoft. And Databricks, your data engineering, completely, what are the activities you're doing is completely from the Databricks company. Now, what Microsoft has done is it has integrated a tool. If you come here, get data, if I come to the Fabric, Microsoft Fabric, which is developed by Microsoft. Here you can see, here it has a SQL database, here it has a warehouse, here it has a lakehouse, here it has data flows, here it has semantic models. Everything is in a single place. Okay. Now, no need to purchase your warehouse from one client, your database from some other client, your BI tool from some other client. If you purchase license for Microsoft Fabric, automatically you'll get everything. Now, if you look for a Microsoft Fabric jobs or if you are looking for a training also, it will take a lot of expenditure because this has been introduced by Microsoft exactly almost 2 years right now. Okay. So that's one more important where a lot of companies are migrating from whatever the database they're using, converting them to the Microsoft Fabric. Now, if you have not heard about it, you'll be definitely hearing about it in another 1 year or 2 years. Or if you start working on Power BI, automatically you'll learn this terminology of Microsoft Fabric and everything. Okay. So that's one more advantage of the ecosystem. Why we are, why the BI tool, why the Power BI tool is been mostly used. One is your Microsoft ecosystem advantage. One is your low licensing. And other thing is your Microsoft Fabric, where you have all the things in a single place itself. And when you're purchasing Microsoft Fabric, BI tool, advanced BI tool will be part of that particular tool. So they have no other option because when you're getting this for free as a part of the Fabric family, then why you'll spend additional amount to purchase some other BI tool? You'll migrate from some other BI tool to this BI tool. Okay. For example, one of my client 1 year back, they were using Tableau. They have purchased this Microsoft Fabric and they converted complete to Fabric and all the reports, whatever they have done in the Tableau, they've converted complete to the Power BI. In my last batch also, which I'm taking right now, in that batch also, there are companies migrating from Tableau to Power BI. That's the reason he wants to learn. Okay. This is very important. That's the reason you need to know because sometimes they ask, why you think there is a lot of boom in last 3-4 years for Power BI? You can answer this particular questions like ecosystem advantage, low licensing cost, and the Fabric. It is very much helpful to that. Okay. Now we'll come to the topic. What is Power BI? And so if I ask me at a top level, Power BI helps you to turn your raw data. Raw data is nothing but in your Excel sheets or in your database, you might get 10 millions of data, 20 millions of data in real time. Okay. You want to convert that raw data into meaningful charts like this. Okay. And insights. What are the insights based on the chart? What are the insights based on which the business team can make a better decisions? Okay. Now, if you have 10 millions of data, let's say I've opened an Excel sheet, there I have 1 million of data. Now, based on that, they'll be not able to understand what is it all about. Now, out of that data, if you want to make a meaningful charts so that the business team will make a better decisions, that's what your Power BI. Now, if you want in a proper manner, Microsoft Power BI is a collection of software services, apps, and connectors that works together to turn your unrelated data sources of data into well-organized, visual, impressive, and interactive insights. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, you might get data from multiple sources. From cloud, you might get the data. From web, you can get the data. From Azure database, you can get the data. From Excel, you can get the data. From SQL database, you can get the data. From MailChimp also, you can get the data. Okay. Now, the major advantage of the Power BI is you can get data from multiple sources. From all these particular sources, you can get the data. It's like that key, for example, let's say you have multiple tables. Okay. One data you might get from web. One table you might get from this Azure database. One data you can get from Excel. You can upload an Excel file and you can work on that. and you can connect all these three things and you can get the data also. It's not necessary that you only get the data from Excel file and one more table is coming from SQL Server. How can I build the report? Power BI will help you to do the relationship and everything, and it will give a detailed information. That's the advantage of it. You can get the data from multiple unrelated sources, and you can build a very much good report, which will be helping the business user to understand in detail related to that. Okay. And coming to Power BI, there are three parts of Power BI. One is your Power BI desktop, as I showed here. This is your Power BI desktop where you will create the visualizations, everything. And the second thing is your Power BI services. Power BI services is a cloud-based platform where after creating this report, let's say we have created this report. Now, this is in your local mission, but in your organization, there will be a lot of people who wants to work on the same report, or you want to send it to the other people. You have worked on the dashboard, you have created a visual, and you want to share that particular visual, or you want to share that particular dashboard to your colleagues or your whoever wants to access that particular report. All those particular things will be done in your Power BI services. And after that, the third thing which will be your Power BI mobile dashboard. This is the place where they want to see an application. They have downloaded the Power BI application in their phone and they want to see the report at a high level. Then we'll be having the Power BI mobile dashboard. Okay. So these are the three parts of Power BI. One is your Power BI desktop, one is your Power BI services, and one is your Power BI mobile dashboard. Okay. And after that, the same thing, how it operates. First thing is we'll be creating a dashboard in the Power BI desktop. And afterwards, we'll be publishing that particular report in your Power BI services. And after that, you'll be sending that particular report. I mean, you might subscribe the report, you might send the report, however the user wants. You can send it to the dashboard, to their email ID, all those particular things will be there. But at a top level, this is how the flow works. First, you develop the report in the dashboard, in the desktop. After that, you publish that report in the Power BI services. And afterwards, you publish that report, you send that report to the Power BI mobile dashboard. Okay. Now, this is not straightforward like this. Just at a high level, I'm telling you how it operates actually. And this is the interface of the Power BI desktop. Now, the first thing, what you can see here is the ribbon. Now, what is the purpose of the ribbon here is, guys, sorry, I'm clear. This is how we provide the database or OneDrive access to each and every person once you enroll for that, right? Apart from the recording side, we'll provide you the notes for each and every topic, whatever the topic we discuss, right? For that particular topic, we'll provide a detailed notes for that particular topic. If I'm talking about Power Query, which is my first topic, I'll be providing a detailed notes related to that. If I'm talking about visualizations, I'll be providing a detailed notes about each and every visual. What is the purpose of it? What is the use case of it? Each and everything we'll be providing in detail related to that. You'll have a data set also, whatever we are discussing on day-to-day basis, right? A data set where you can practice that all this particular data set, you can download it and you can practice simultaneously along with me. Apart from that, you'll have an additional data set also, batch also, right? I mean, we have more than 280 sources, okay? But what are the major things I'll be covering it is, I'll be connecting to the lakehouse, I'll be connecting to the warehouse, I'll be connecting to the SQL server, and I'll be fetching the data. I'll be telling you how to connect to the SharePoint and get the data. I'll be connecting to the SQL server, I'll be connecting to the lakehouse, warehouse, as well as to the folder, to the Excel sheet, to the CSV file. All these particular things will be covering, whatever in the real time, which we'll be using, all those particular things will be covering. And to answer your question, yes. Anyways, we'll be discussing about this Power BI desktop interface in detail, but we'll be discussing one by one. What is the first week we'll be going to discuss? What is the second week, third week, fourth week, fifth week? Whatever we are going to discuss, that I'll tell you in detail right now. Okay. Now, the first thing, first week of time, we'll be discussing about Power Query, which is nothing but your ETL tool. Now, loading data is the first week of topic. Now, if I go to get data here, now I have multiple sources, Excel workbook, SQL server, Dataverse, data flows. If I click on more, I'll have a lot of things. If I go to the all, I have Excel workbook, text CSV file, JSON file, folder, SharePoint, SQL server database, everything. All the sources will be available here. Now, we'll be connecting to the Excel work. Might be in a SQL database, or it might be in your local machine also. We'll connect to the Excel workbook. We'll connect to the text CSV file. We'll connect to the folder. We'll connect to the SQL server databases. How do you fetch the data? How do you get the data from the SQL server? We will see that as well. And I'll go to the Microsoft Fabric. I'll connect to the warehouse, get the data from there. I'll connect to basically to the warehouse. I'll get the data from there. I mean, as I said, Azure database or Fabric database, the process is the same. Even the SQL database also, the process is the same, but still, I'll connect to the SQL database and I'll tell you guys how to get the data from the SQL databases. And after that, I'll connect to your web services. I mean, if there is any web application from where you want to fetch the data, I'll we'll connect to the web service, we'll connect to the SharePoint also and try to get the data. Okay. 80% whatever you will be connecting to the real time, all those particular things I'll be helping you out. Now, let's say if anyone wants you to connect to the Dynamic 365 or anything, that also I'll help you out. I'll help you guys out how to connect to the Dynamic 365 and fetch the data from there. Okay. One thing I want to tell each and every one of you here is the process remains the same for each and every database. Only thing is you need to give your server name, you need to give your password, whatever is being provided by your database administrator in your company, right? So those particular details, you need to get that, but each and everything remains the same. Only the difference is 10 to 20% here and there. Okay, now these are the list of databases to which we connect to. And after that, what we do is the first topic, as I said, the loading data. The first topic which we'll be discussing is related to the Power Query. Okay, let me unwind this. Yeah. So this is basically an ETL tool where we'll be fetching the data from multiple sources and we'll be doing a lot of transformations. Okay, like removing the columns, doing the columns. I mean, we'll be discussing about each and everything. As I showed in the notes here, we'll be seeing what is Power Query is all about, importing data, how do you import the data, what is backend and front end, what is the Power Query interface, and we'll be discussing about each and every tab, what will be available in the home tab, what will be available in the transform tab, what will be available in the add column tab, and we'll be seeing real-time examples related to that. What is Power Query? What is data profiling? How do you do that? Each and everything will be seeing in detailed information related to that with the data set. Whatever the data set we have here, with that particular data set, we'll be doing a detailed information. This will be first week of class, where we'll be discussing about the ETL tool, how you extract the data, how do you get the data from multiple sources, and after, what is the transformations, which is T, ETL tool. E is extracting the data, T is your transforming the data. It might be multiple transformations. Each and every table have a different transformation. We will see each and every transformation related to that. After that, last in the ETL, loading the data to the front end, which is basically here, loading all the tables here. Okay, that will be our first week. First week will be, we'll be discussing about the Power Query. That's basically your loading data and the transformation. After that, doing the transformation. Whatever the transformation, you might delete the columns, you might extract the data from some other columns, all those particular things. First week, we'll be seeing this. The second week, what we'll be seeing is the modeling tab, which will be available here. Now, if I come here, now what we have done, first week, we have extracted the data, we have transformed the data, and we have loaded to the front end. The next week, we'll be seeing, next 4 days, we'll be seeing about data modeling, which is basically your semantic model. How do you give the relationship here? I mean, if you have no knowledge related to SQL also, but we'll be discussing about what is a primary key, what is foreign key, what is left join, right join. In detail level, we'll be discussing about that. After that, we'll be discussing about data modeling. Why we need to give the relationship between the tables, what will happen if you don't give the relationship, and what is a primary key, what is one-to-many relationship, what is many-to-many relationship, each and everything from cardinality, what is cross-filter direction, how you can create the relationships, and how do you create this relationship. We'll be discussing in detail related to that. We'll be deleting all this relationship, and I'll tell you from each and every point, how do you give the relationship, and if you want to change the relationship, how you can change. What is active relationship? What is inactive relationship? What is the difference between that? We'll be creating the relationship and we'll be understanding what is data modeling is all about, what is semantic model is all about. We'll be discussing in the second week of time. Okay, before going between modeling and designing, we will discuss in detail. If I go to the topic of DAX, so here we'll be discussing about what is a calculated column, what is a measure, which has two different type of DAX. And after that, we'll see the basics of DAX and we'll be seeing all these functions of DAX. What is math and stat functions, what is logical functions, what is text, filter, table, date and time, relationship functions. We'll be discussing each and every function in detail. What is sum? And we'll see a practical examples like this. We'll be creating multiple measures and simultaneously we'll be creating multiple calculated columns as well. If you see here, we have created all these calculated columns as well in detail. How do you create this particular column? How do you create this particular column? All these particular columns we have created. It's not coming from the source. We have created this particular column. Okay. Now in detail, we discuss about DAX. This will be another 1 week of time, which we'll be discussing in the third week. And in the fourth week, we'll be working on the visualizations. Whatever the visuals you have here, all these visuals we'll be seeing what is the purpose of it. And as I already showed in the notes, we'll be discussing about each and every visual. What is the definition? What is the use case? What is the snapshot? And we'll see a practical example. What is card? What is a multi-row card? What is a table? What is a matrix table? And here we'll be seeing what is clustered column chart, clustered stacked column chart. What is your stacked bar chart? Clustered bar chart, all this, sorry, column chart, all these particular things we'll be discussing. We'll be discussing about field parameters, what is field parameters and everything here in detail. Okay. And we'll be seeing charts, all the line charts and cluster line chart, all these particular things. Basically to tell at a top level, we'll be discussing about all the visuals, what all the visuals we'll have. We'll see practical example, how do you drag it? And if I select this visual, what are you have in this visual? What is the general settings? What you have here, each and every visual we'll be seeing in detail related to that. Okay. And after that, the last topic, what we'll be seeing is designing is the next topic where we'll be creating designings of all these particular things. The next thing will be share and collab. Now, for example, we have created this visual, and if you want to publish that particular visual, we'll be seeing that particular visual basically in your Power BI services. Okay. Right now I'm not able to showcase that Power BI services. Let me try if I can do that, but I'll show you afterwards, because if I sign in, it will show me my office credentials and everything. So that's the reason I don't want to show, but I'll show you. The last topic we'll be discussing about Power BI services. Basically, there will be covering topics related to Fabric as well, how the Fabric operates and everything we'll be discussing related to that as well. Okay. Now that's the 4 topics. First topic is your Power Query, which is basically your ETL tool, where we'll be doing the data cleaning. The second topic is your Power Pivot, where we'll be doing the data modeling part. This is the second topic, data modeling. And the third topic, between 2 and 3, we have one more topic called Power DAX, which we'll be discussing. And the fourth topic will be Power View, where we'll be building different kind of visuals, like all the visuals, whatever we have seen here. It's still not completed. We are still the classes going on, the last topic. And the fourth will be your Power BI services. Okay, that's one more topic. The fifth and the final topic, where we'll be seeing how you can schedule the refresh, how you can schedule the refreshing, how you can share the report to multiple users, how to create a workspace, how in the real time, how it will actually work in the real time, that we'll be seeing in the Power BI services. And even here also, we'll be working on some real-time examples, not some real-time examples. Whatever I've been experiencing from last 7-8 years, all those particular examples, based on that only, I've created the data sets as well as whatever we'll be working on. I'll tell you what is the issues that you'll get in the real time. Simultaneously, we'll work on that. Okay. Now, this is one visual, but we'll be creating, as I showed you, we'll be working on each and every visual. Each and every visual we'll be working on, and we'll see the real-time examples related to that. And one thing to remember before the next class, please ensure that, if your laptop is purchased after 2015, no need to check what are the laptop you're using. It's before 2015. Please ensure that your RAM is more than 2 GB or 4 GB. Recommended is 4 GB, but ensure that it's not less than 2 GB. Why? Because the performance of the report, when I'm creating this particular report, since I'm using 16 GB RAM, the performance will be faster compared to your particular report. Okay. So that's the reason. Please ensure that your RAM is more than 4 GB for sure. Now, how do you check that? Go to the system summary, click on the system summary. If you go here, you'll be able to see here available physical memory, and ensure that not 1 GB, it is more than 2 GB, at least more than 2 GB. Okay. But if your laptop is purchased after 2015, by default, it will be more than 2 GB only. No need to worry about that in the first place. Okay. Now, before going to the questions part, I just wanted to tell you from Visualpath side, day-to-day basis, we'll be providing you the classes, recordings of the classes after the session is over also. After the course is over also, you'll be having access to the particular recordings. You can go through the recordings of day-to-day classes. Apart from that, we'll have notes for each and every topic, first week, second week, third week, whatever the notes we are discussing, that particular notes will be available here. You can download this particular notes. And in the class, we'll be discussing about one particular data set, right? That particular data set will be available here for you guys to practice it. Apart from that, I have created one more additional data set. Okay. So after the class is over, you can just practice with this particular additional data set also. And if you have any doubts, and what are the reports we are working on, that will be available here. Okay. Now in Power BI services, even we'll be discussing about gateways, what is a gateway, how you can refresh, schedule the refresh, all those particular things also we'll be discussing on that. Okay. And interview questions you'll have, but this is not a general interview questions which you'll find in the online. This is basically what are the questions I will ask for the Power BI guy and what are the questions they have asked me during my tenure of 8 years or 7 years. Those interview questions I've kept it here. Okay. So this is the access you will have. You'll have access to the recording classes of each and day classes. And apart from that, you'll have access to the notes, data sets, all to this one, right? Once you enroll this, you will have access to this. And as I said initially in the starting of the class, this is the certification that I want each and every one of you to do. And what are the topics that we are going to discuss in the next will be more than enough to write this particular exam. Only thing is, you need to practice after our class, just practice whatever we discuss for 1 month. And after that, you can write this particular exam, which will be very much helpful for your resume. And at the top level, if you go to the Visualpath team, here you have a curriculum, what we'll be discussing. I mean, we'll be discussing much more than this. It is not updated, but we'll be discussing much more than this. What is the week? What is the topic we will be discussing? Each and everything is, as you can see here. DAX, it is very minimal what is here. But what we'll be discussing in much more in depth in advanced topics also we will be discussing related to that. Okay. But at a high level, this is what we'll be discussing in the next 5 to 6 weeks of time.